Compliment of the season, lovelies, and I hope you're having a good Christmas preparation, irrespective of the challenges we have faced in 2024. Now we are moving into 2025 and we are believing God for a more better year ahead of us. So just stay positive and know that everything you so desired, including myself in 2024, that hasn't come to pass will definitely come to pass in 2025. At the same time, I love sharing this kind of news I'm about to share with you because we've been hearing about net migration, the new government, the previous government. So in today's video, I've got an interesting update regarding recruitment in 2025, especially recruitment from overseas, which will benefit a lot of people still thinking of moving to the UK. Like I would always say, never give up. Never give up. If it is UK you want to migrate to, guys, keep pressing the button until you're here. And I'm sure this 2025 we are stepping in, you and your family will definitely migrate to the UK. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fajira. If you're seeing this beautiful face for the very first time, I'm so happy to have you all in our beautiful family. For my returning subscribers, thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you for always sharing, always liking, always coming to watch, leaving your comments. To be honest, like I've come to know a lot of my followers because they leave their comments and I'm in the comment section as well responding to them. I just want to say thank you. And if you're new to this channel, I create content on UK immigration, like all the good news, bad news, all the things that happens in the UK on this platform. So if you're someone who is thinking of migrating, or you know anyone who has migrated to the UK, please do like and share this video with them because I'm sure they will find it interesting. Most of the contents I share here are basically from my experience, the new updates. I've been in this country for the past 13 to 14 years now, and I've had lots of experience. Like I would always say that I've passed through different routes that understand exactly how it feels like when you're maybe a dependent, you're the main applicant, you're a student, because I've passed through all of those routes. Without wasting so much of your time, let's quickly dive right into today's video. And like you know, the UK government have been talking about net migration. Oh, they want to cut down net migration. Oh, this one, that one. In as much as they want to cut down net migration, they are also now saying that cutting down net migration will not solve the problem. So this is the latest updates from MAC. And if you don't know, MAC is a Migration Advisory Committee. They go to look out for things to help ease migration or to tighten migration, also give professional advice on how the government and the Home Office should go about migration. Now they've come up with this report and it was recently published. That's why I want to share with you. And to me, to be honest, when I read it, I was really excited about it because in as much as they want to cut net migration, a lot is going on. The people that are migrating on visa are not the problem in the UK. The major problem the UK is facing are those who are crossing. And I got to find out that they pay a huge amount to all those gangs for them to be able to get to the UK. And somebody is applying for visa, doing all the right things. And sometimes I just sit back and I'm like, what is going on? People are paying to come to the UK and you want them to go back. And whereas people who are crossing to the UK, they are being given houses, they are being given everything. So what are we talking about? Just as you can see on my screen on migration, training up workers may not bring down net migration, Starmer warned. This is a warning from the Prime Minister. Skilled overseas workers contribute 20 times more than UK-born adults, maybe due to pay and conditions, say advisors. As you can see, Starmer's plan to bring down UK net migration by improving domestic training and skill is not guaranteed to work. The government independent advisors have concluded. Now, the Migration Advisory Committee also said that the average migrant who comes to the UK on a skilled worker visa contributes 20 times more than the average UK-born adult. An annual report from the body released on Tuesday challenges one of the maintenance of Labour's plan to reduce net migration, which increased to 906,000 in the year ending June 2023. Starmer said in July he wanted to cut demand for overseas workers by more strongly linking training with migration policies. We won't be content just to pull the easy lever of importing skills. We are turning the page on that, the Prime Minister said. The report said the committee had discussed the government's intention to link work, immigration and skills policy, just like we have been hearing from. They were doing their campaign. This actually started from the previous government, but just to let you know that even before the previous government, I remember when I came into study in 2011, I came in September, and in April before that September, they had already stopped post-study work. all in the name of trying to cut down net migration. So cutting down net migration is not something that started today. It's been there over 20 years ago. So for those who are still planning to come to the UK and they keep saying, oh, Fajira, the UK is cutting down net migration, I've lost interest. Guys, not to lose interest. Keep doing what you're doing. And like I would always say, that if it's the UK that you really want to migrate to, then the doors are still open, because this net migration thing shouldn't scare you. It's been there like for decades. It's been there. But as you can see on the report, increasing the level of skills in the domestic labor pool is a worthwhile policy in its own right, but does not guarantee a substantial reduction in the reliance on the immigration system. Employers will often still seek the best possible match for their vacancy, which could include international recruits, and the impact of investments and skills on immigration will vary by sector and occupation. And just to let you know that the government will not decide for an organization where to recruit for. For instance, if an organization who is licensed to sponsor is looking for a data analyst, and they think and they feel that the one they have interviewed overseas will fill into what they are looking out for, and they have their COS, they can sponsor that person. The government will not come in to say you have to employ the ones in the UK because we think they are best for your business. No, that's a decision that has to be done by the organization. So the government does not really have a role to play in organizations who are licensed to sponsor people from overseas to come to the UK to work. So you have to always know that it's not the UK government recruiting for key organizations and other sectors. They have given them rules and they have to follow the Home Office compliance during their recruitment process. As you can see, the committee which advises the government on shortages of skilled labor said that skilled workers from overseas had a positive net facial impact of £16,300, while the average UK-born adult had a positive net facial impact of £800 in 2022 to 2023. So you can see why most employers sought out for employees overseas. Now, let me tell you one of the things that happens, especially those who are on sponsorship. Once they are sponsored to the UK to work for their organizations, they have to work for that organization until they are able to get another sponsorship. And getting another sponsorship sometimes is not always very easy, which is why some employers, they prefer to recruit from overseas to make things easier for them, knowing that those people they have recruited from overseas will come and work in the UK in the organization for a longer time. Yeah. But for instance, for a British born or someone who has a British passport, you can just decide to leave your job today and you're looking for another job. You don't necessarily have to look for a job that can sponsor you because you have your British citizenship or you have your indefinite leave to remain. But if you're on a sponsorship, you're a skilled worker, if you have to look for another job, you have to look out for a job that can sponsor you, job that can continue to sponsor you to stay in the UK, which is why a lot of employers prefer to just recruit from overseas and have their peers and have employees that will stay in the organization for a longer time, especially the good employees. Significantly higher net contribution for skilled workers compared to UK-born adults reflects both the combination of the higher incomes for this group, leading to higher tax revenues and reduced expenditure, in part due to the rules on no recourse to public funds. Like if you're on a sponsorship, you're not recourse to public funds. Now, for British citizens, for those who have their permanent residency in the UK, they can take benefit. If you're out of job, you can go claim benefit. But because you're on a sponsorship, you know that if you leave this job, the government is not going to give you anything. You just carry on working. And the more you work, the more tax you're paying, which is what Mark is saying in this review. So those that are on visa, they are not recourse to public funds. And no matter what happens, even when they are sick, you see them going to work. I think I filmed a video about that recently. I say, if you're sick, let your organization know that you're not feeling fine, because you should be entitled to sick leave. So now, one of the mistakes immigrants make is when they are ill, they go to work because they just feel that if they don't go to work, they are going to be sacked, they will not be paid, and so I also made this mistake so many years ago that I will be so ill, you see me at work because I don't want to lose the job, I don't want to lose the pay for that day. But please, guys, make sure you're reading your employee's handbook. There is a lot of information out there, a lot of entitlements as well that you may not be aware of if you don't read it. Skilled workers also tend to be younger than the UK population as a whole, resulting in lower health costs compared to the UK average, the report said. So even some skilled workers, they don't go to the hospital, they don't use what they pay for. Now, with the care workers, when you're moving to the UK, you don't pay for IHS. People still don't use the surgery when they are ill. So these are things that Mark have looked into, and to be honest, I can attest to this because I've seen a lot of people both in church, on the streets, in town center, and they tell me their challenges. I'm like, remind them, do you know you're supposed to use this? They're like, is it free? And I tell them, yeah, go, it's free. So imagine how many people are not aware of things that they are entitled to in this country. Our government has pledged to bring down net migration. The number of people moving to the UK minus the number leaving the country, which has been at the forefront of immigration debates in the UK. The government has asked the committee to monitor key sectors where skills shortages have led to surges in overseas recruitment and provide a yearly assessment to ministers to inform policy decision making, which of course Mark will continue to work, but in as much as they are working, like I would always say, do not give up on the UK. For me, the UK for now is a place to migrate to, honestly, because they care for immigrants. Rules around visa sponsorship of migrant workers will also be strengthened so that actions can be taken against employers who flaunt employment laws. To be honest, I am standing by this because a lot of employers as well have lied to migrants. They say, oh, I've got a job, they give you COS, especially those that paid for their COS. They come here and life becomes more difficult for them. So such organizations should be looked into from what Mark have said, and they are going to tighten the rules so that even such organizations will not be able to sponsor from overseas. Professor Brian Bell, the chair of the committee, said, we know that recent figures have shown net migration falling. This has been driven both by government policy changes and by other factors such as the impact of enhanced enforcement of the genuine vacancy test in the care sector. We know a lot of vacancies in the care sectors are not genuine. With what they are doing, most of the care organizations have lost their licenses and they are not able to sponsor overseas worker. And just to let you know that even some of those organizations, what happens when they lose their licenses? They use another person, maybe a family person, to open another company and get license for that company, and they start recruiting again from overseas just to make money. And at the end of the day, Home Office still finds them and they still revoke the license. So some people are also into that. So just be careful when applying for jobs in 2025 so you don't become a victim, especially when you have to pay for your COS. Once you are paying for your COS, just know that you may not get the job you're paying for. Yeah, because a lot of employers have deceived migrants with that. So be very careful and be very wise this 2025. And as you can see, as we are expecting net migration to fall further, we would caution the government against linking immigration and skill policy as a one-size-fits-all approach to bring down net migration, and encourage them to continue to consider individual circumstances within sectors. Like I said, this report develops a methodology for understanding the facial impact of migrants on the skilled worker visa,
an important metric for understanding whether a route enhances the welfare of the resident population.
Guys, this is just what it is. Like I would always say, when applying for a job this 2025 that we are stepping in, you have to be vigilant, be watchful, and do not give up. If it is UK that is your dream country to migrate to, don't give up. Just carry on doing what you're doing, and trust me, things will work out for your good. But like you can see, all the rules that have been put in place this 2024 to see how they can cut down net migration. Even the MAC and also the UK government have seen that it is not going to work. Like I would say, those coming through visa applications to study, to work, they are not the problem that the UK have. The problem UK have is those who are crossing the channel by boat, because they go to collect money from government. They give them accommodation, they pay them like weekly, they give them allowances. So this is where the government is spending their money. Whereas those who are applying for visas are paying for their visa, they are paying for IHS, they are paying for the school fees. Like if you watched my previous video, the UK government has placed 3 universities on action plan because they did not meet the compliance. Imagine how many universities are in the UK that sponsor international students. Imagine over hundreds of universities in the UK sponsor international students, and only 3 are placed on action plan. And like I would always say, the school fees international students are paying, they are adding to the economy, they are boosting the economy, whether we like it. As you can see as well from what we have read, that migrants contribute higher when it comes to revenue from their job, and I can attest to that because Migrants are working to pay their bills. They are working to pay for everything. And if you're a citizen or you have your resident permit, at any point you're not working, at any point you don't have a job, or at any point you're not able to do anything, the government will give you money. But for those who are on visa, how will they get the money? They are not recourse to public funds, so how will they get the money? This is just what it is, and this for me is a good news, because which means recruitment will still take place from overseas as we step into 2025. So do not give up. Use the register of the licensed sponsors list. Companies are added on daily basis. Update your CV according to the job specification. Don't forget that. Don't let anybody say I'm doing CV and you pay, because you can't use one CV to apply for all the jobs in the UK. Make sure that you do everything you know you can to get a genuine job in the UK, so you migrate to the UK, relax, do your job, and start enjoying your life the way you want it. So guys, this brings us to the end of today's video, and I hope you find this video helpful. And just in case I'm not able to upload any video before Christmas, which I think I may upload, but I wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year in advance. Until I see you in my next video, do take care, and please do like, share, and subscribe, and join our beautiful family for more updates. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.